Hi, my name is Siti Najwa binti Muhammad Amin. So today, I want to give you a speech to help you gain more knowledge and information about the history of ancient Greece. Before we go deeply into this discussion, let me introduce to all of you what is ancient Greece. In case you don't know, well, ancient Greece was a civilization to a period of Greek history from the Greek Dark Ages of the 12th to 9th BC centuries to the end of antiquity. This era was immediately followed by the early Middle Ages and the Byzantine period. Okay, but what is Greek Dark Ages? What happens in that time? Greek Dark Ages is the period of Greek history from the end of the Mycenaean Lycaria civilization around 1100 BC to the beginning of Archaic Age around 750 BC. Firstly, we will talk about the origins of the ancient Greece. The ancient Greek civilization emerged around 1200 BC in a privileged place between the Mediterranean Sea and the Aegean Sea. This territory was made up of a peninsula and a group of islands. Ancient Greeks were settlers. They didn't just conform to staying in their territory. They wanted to look for and colonize new land to expand their civilization. Ancient Greeks were excellent sailors and they reached many parts of the Mediterranean Sea, extending their commercial activity and craftsmanship trade. Second, we will move on to the cities. Ancient Greeks called their cities as polis, and each one of them had its own government, and polis were very well organized. There was an agora in every one of them, which was the main public place, and there is Acropolis, which was the highest part of the polis, a theater where ancient Greeks held events like comedy and tragedy plays, walls to defend the city, and the Parthenon, the temple where they worshipped their gods. Sparta and Athens were two of the most famous and powerful polis. There were occasional fights among the cities, and these would then declare war in order to expand their territory and gain more power. Next, we will discuss about the society of ancient Greek. Ancient Greek society was divided into two groups, which are free citizens and non-citizens. Free citizens were men born in polis and made the most important decisions, and non-citizens were the women, the foreigners, and the slaves who never enjoyed their fundamental rights. Ancient Greeks established a government regime called democracy that allowed only free citizens to make decisions by means of voting, which is men. And ancient Greeks were the polytheistic society. This means they worship many gods. Have you ever heard of Ares, the god of war? How about Poseidon, the sea god? And I am sure you know that Zeus was the father of all the gods. Ancient Greek mythology emerged in the civilization. It is a collection of stories and legends about gods and heroes. Ancient Greek made up these stories to explain to people the origins of the world and transmit their values. Do you know about the story Hercules? He was the son of Zeus, a superhero, half god and half human. His powers were out of this world. Now, we have talked about its society. How about its philosophies and knowledges? Well, ancient Greeks were incredibly curious and took great interest in learning about everything around them, be it nature or human beings themselves. This is how the discipline and philosophy emerges. The most well-known philosophers were Plato and Aristotle. There were also important mathematicians during this period, like Pythagoras or Archimedes, who intended to apply geometry principles in building and explain the meaning of numbers in people's everyday lives. Their interest for intelligence and knowledge helped the ancient Greek civilization expand around the Mediterranean Sea. Last but not least, the sports of the ancient Greeks. Do you know that the Olympic Games originated in ancient Greece? Isn't it incredible? They managed to survive until modern times. Yeah, in the old times, Olympic Games were held were held every 4 years in Olympia, and the best athletes who came from several different parts of the Greece competed in the games. They participate in sports like jumping, disc throw, or running. Back then, athletes were competing for an olive wreath, not for medals. Many of the ancient Olympic values like teamwork, discipline, and effort still remain up to this day. Finally, I am about to end this speech. So in conclusion, I hope you now understand all of the information we have discussed so far, which is today I've told you about the history of the ancient Greek, and the origins, the cities, the society, the knowledges, and the sports. The ancient Greek came to an end in 146 BC, but the legacy is still present today in politics, culture, philosophy, or even sports. And that's all from me. Thank you.